Welcome on, people. It's Mr. back again with the Nottingham Forest preview show. I hope everyone's fit and well. Big game for us. Tomorrow we head to Deepdale to play Preston. Big game. Another big side that we played, but massive game for Forest. Before we do start, like I said, if you are new to the channel, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and comment below, people. What is your score prediction for tomorrow's game? Before I get the Preston fan in, just a few things I want to say. If you want to be a member, people, the link is below. Please do hit the like button. As well, I keep talking about it. I've got Kevin Campbell coming on Thursday, the 28th of April. If you want your tickets, people, please message me on Twitter or Instagram. It's going to be a special occasion. If you want to sponsor as well, people, the event, email me and you get your name out there as a work company. Right. Let's start. I've got a special guest, and I thought so. I've met this guy before, but I don't know where it was. And it is. I've got, like I said, Jack, a Preston fan. How you doing, Jack?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Big game for both of us. And but before we just talk, Jack, let's talk about the game at City Ground. And I was shocked. I was surprised because I mentioned you are one of our bogey sides. And I couldn't believe we beat you 3-0. But for your opinion, Jack, what was your opinion on that game?
It was the moment which kind of put the wheels going for the loss of our manager, really, that loss. It was a real dismal defeat. I went, I had to watch the game back because I didn't remember much because I was that hammered. we started off at about 7 a.m, so it was a long do, but it was a poor game for Peony, I've got to be honest, compared to what I'd have expected, because you were on a decent run under Steve Cooper, weren't you? But at that point you were mid-table or lower half, so yeah, it was we struggled, but you were the much better side. And Brennan Johnson, wow, what a player. He ripped us to shreds. I think he won the penalty, got an assist and got a goal that game, so he was outstanding.
Let's talk about Preston season. And like I said, I'm surprised with you because you're always in the playoff spots as well. And it's like clever one. Like how since we beat you lot, like I said, you've got rid of your manager. We can talk about your new manager soon, but all around as a fan, what's your opinion on the whole season?
I think the first half was a poor campaign, one of the worst we've had since we returned to the Championship. But I was never worried that we'd get relegated. I always thought there'd be 3 worse teams, or probably 6 worse teams than us in the league. But I think the style of play kind of led to the sacking of Frankie. And we've definitely seen a better style of play since Ryan Lowe's come in. We've been better defensively and better going forward, and it's easier on the eye. But we're sat here 33 games in for us anyway, 12th in the league. It's probably whereabouts you'd put Preston in terms of our budget. So it's not. Some people make out it's been the worst season. Yeah, it's what you'd expect as a Preston North End fan, I think.
Let's talk about Preston players and what players do Forest need to watch out for.
Well, I've got to say our star boy at the moment, Cameron Archer, on loan from Aston Villa.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think he scored 4 in 6 so far, and he's been excellent since he's come in. He's a real live wire, but really good on the ball, real quality. He's got a fantastic strike in him, but for such a young lad, he's only 20 years old. He's got that confidence about him that I think we're only going to have him for 3 months, and then either he's going to be straight into the Villa starting lineup, or he's going to be getting a loan to one of the bigger boys next year in the Championship. But he's definitely, at the moment, our danger man in the side.
What players have you been disappointed with? What players have you been disappointed with this season so
far? Disappointed with? I think, talking about areas of the pitch, we play under both managers. We played with wing backs. They were a lot more defensively minded under Frankie. They're now being asked under Ryan Lowe to play on the front foot, to play a much more attacking style. But they've just not been able to do the job, I think it's fair to say. Josh Earl certainly struggled and has come under a lot of criticism this season. At times unjust, because he'll just be having a solid 6 or 7 out. But people have been very disappointed with him. And then on the other side, on both sides, we've been playing players out of position, really, at wing back. Brad Potts at right wing back, who was booed off when he got subbed off at Nottingham Forest. So
Was there?
Yeah, he was booed off, and there was people were sarcastically cheering because he missed sort of a sitter. He skied 2 over, I think. But he's come on a lot at right wing back. But I think that's the area we've been lacking this season. I don't like coming out and saying this player's been shit, this player's been crap, because at the end of the day, I'm a supporter of Preston North End, and you've got to support them through thick and thin when they wear that shirt. But if there is one area that North End have seriously been disappointed in this year, it has been in the wide areas.
We'll talk about Forest, Jack. And then, if anyone's got any questions for Jack regarding Preston, put in the comment below. It'll be massive help as well. And if anyone's going to do any super chats, you can. Jack, I always say about a rival fan about Forest, and as a Preston fan, what do you think of Forest season so far?
Well, I've been mightily impressed by her since Cooper's come in. I mean, I think we had a chat at the start of the season, didn't we? Just before the season started on a Blackpool show, and I had you in the top 6. I thought Chris Hughton, he's an experienced Championship manager. He always does a job in the Championship. Obviously, didn't work out this year. I was willing for you to go get Alex Neil in charge, our previous manager. But you ended up going for Cooper, which again was a real astute appointment. And you've been really good, both in defensive areas and attacking areas. And it looks like this year, or at least under the Cooper reign, you're going to finally realise your potential, because I think most seasons people put you in the top 6. Under Lamucci, I think under Hughton, a lot of people will have put you in the top 6. But it looks like Cooper has cracked the code. But maybe this year, from my point of view, looking from the outside in, maybe this is you've got to get it this year, because you're probably not going to keep hold of Brennan Johnson for next year. You're probably not going to get Jimmy Garner on loan. Probably not going to get Jed Spence on loan again. So maybe this has to be your year of getting top 6, or you'll have to rebuild again.
You mentioned the players like Brennan Johnson, Gardner as well. It's Johnson the player that you're more worried about for tomorrow's game.
Definitely, yeah. I was my second team's Lincoln City, so he was on loan at Lincoln last year.
Okay.
So I knew he was going to do very well, but he's an excellent player. I mean, I like your left wing back, Max Lowe. I think he goes under the radar a lot. I think he's really good, good signing. So yeah, I think your squad's littered with good players. I mean, I know Bryce Samber's out, so I don't know is it going to be Horvath?
Horvath will be in the squad. Yeah.
Right. So do you reckon he'll start?
100%. Definitely starting.
I reckon that might be the area of weakness, just because he hasn't played much. I mean, he's come in with a decent pedigree from Belgium, hasn't he? So yeah. I think if anywhere, because obviously you've had Bryce Samber in for the last 2 years, that might be somewhere we target. But I mean, as I say, your squad's littered with quality. You've got a proper good squad there. I mean, if you were naming on paper at the start of the season or at the end of January who had the strongest squads, I'd probably have you out of the top sides without the parachute payments. Obviously Bournemouth and Fulham have got loads of quality, but for those sides without the parachute payments from the last 3 years, I'd probably have to say that you've assembled the best squad.
Do you think Forest will be at the playoffs then?
Oh, it's a good question, because I mean Fulham and Bournemouth will probably be top.
Yeah.
Then you've Blackburn will get in there.
We beat Blackburn. There's nothing to worry about. We beat them easy.
Well, I hope they don't make top 6, but I think they probably will. QPR on a poor run, and then I'd say there's you and Middlesbrough. I like Middlesbrough as well. They're a good side. I don't see Huddersfield staying in there, and I think West Brom will be up there. So I'd say you finish 6. I'd say you finish 6.
So Jack thinks we'll finish 6. People in the comments, what do you think? Are you agreeing with Jack or not? Before we talk about tomorrow's game, I know you had a poor result on Saturday against who was it? If you played on Saturday again, just
Reading.
3-2 to Reading. And Jack, what happened? Because Reading went poor, and I was surprised you lost to them.
Yeah, well, they hadn't won a game in 14, 15 games. So, I mean, they'd lost the National League North side, Kidderminster. and then been beaten by 7-0 by Fulham, and it's just been getting battered most weeks. So it's one of those where you turn up thinking, right, you're rubbing your hands, you're thinking, right, it's going to be 2-3, 4-0 here, but we were horrendous. I'd probably say it's the worst I've seen us this season, especially defensively. We were way too open. The 1v1 defending was very poor. The first 2 goals were shambolic. And to be 2 goals down after 18 minutes against the arguably the worst side in the league in their current state of form was very disappointing. I mean, we could have got back into it, and some would point at the fact that we had our chances in the second half and we came back from 3 down to nearly clinch a draw, but we didn't deserve to draw that game. Reading thoroughly deserved 3 points, and it was a massive blip, and it's been a worry our home form. We've only won 1 in 6 under Ryan Lowe. We've been excellent away from home, but at home, when we're expected to break down the opposition and create our own chances, we've not been particularly good.
You mentioned Ryan Lowe, and like I said, he came in. So what was your opinion when he first joined Preston?
I was delighted with the appointment. I mean, he was doing some excellent stuff with Plymouth Argyle. He did really well with Bury, and I mean, to be fair, I think he left Plymouth 4th in the league, and his assistant manager stayed with him. Stayed at Plymouth, sorry. And they're now, I think, 5th or 6th in the league. So they're carrying it on, and he's not changed much. They've carried on. So it's proven that he's a good manager. He's on the front foot. He's really good with the media. He's really good with the fans. He'll come around, clap everyone, do all the fist bumps if we win. He's what
He's doing the Steve Cooper. Is he doing the Steve Cooper then?
Oh, the Steve Cooper, is that what it's called?
It's called a Steve Cooper.
No, I prefer Ryan Lowe doing it. We'll do it in front of you, like when we win tomorrow. But no, he's what I'd call a manager on the rise. I'll be very surprised if he's not a Premier League manager in a couple of years. And I'm not saying that that's going to be with us, because he's already proven he's willing to jump ship when he went from Bury to Plymouth and then Plymouth to Preston. He's willing to jump ship because he's an ambitious manager. But I'd be very surprised if I don't see him in the Premier League within the next 2-3 years, whether that's with Preston or whether it's not.
Brilliant. I was a chat with Ryan Lowe, be manager, a Premiership manager in 2-3 years. People in the comments, what do you think? Ryan Lowe as Premiership manager? I think Steve Cooper is in front of him, but bloody hell. Like I said, I don't know much about Ryan Lowe. I know, like I said, he was at Plymouth and he's done really well for him, but I think, as a Forest fan, I think it was a right choice as well. Like I said, Preston, for me, like Preston, they've always done well, Jack. Like you had Billy Davis, you had Alex O'Neill as well, and with a man like that, I think he'll do well. But I think this season, I think he needs to stay mid-table, because you've always been a top 6, and that's why I'm surprised with Preston. Like, do you think, like I spoke about being a mid-table side, then next season he's got to build on and be like, I don't know, top 6 side again?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's funny you say top 6 side, because especially under Alex Neil's era, or early under Alex Neil's era, we always spent time in the top 6. So probably from October to March, we were a top 6 side, but never at the end of the season did we finish top 6. So we haven't finished top 6 in the Championship since Alan Irvine was in charge in 2009. But as you say, Alex Neil was overachieving a lot, and we spent a lot of time. I mean, we were top of the league 2 years ago, and then we ended up finishing 9th. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I guess this season's a bit of a transitional season for Ryan Lowe. Get the players in he wants in the summer, and then hopefully we can push on to at least be a top 10 club and be in that talk of top 6.
The 65 people in, like I said, if you want to ask any questions, Jack, you can talk about Preston season. And if there's any Forest questions you want to ask as well, please ask me. Please do hit the like button as well. I'm on 14. If I can get to 50 by the end of the stream, much appreciate it. Right, Jack, 2 more questions. I've asked this to all the rival fans. At the start of the season, like I said, you had your manager. So at the start of the season, where did you thought you'd finish? And right now, where do you think you'll finish the season?
Good question. At the start of the season, I'm usually quite optimistic. I mean, I'm a real optimist, but I wasn't. I liked our manager as a person. I like Frankie McAvoy, as a person, and I liked him when he was Alex Neil's assistant manager, but I never thought he would seamlessly go into the manager's job. So I had us 18th in the league, which is quite low for North. It was probably underachieving for our side, but Ryan Lowe's definitely galvanised the club. We're playing better football, and we're getting more points on the table. So I'd say I think we're going to finish, if you're asking me now, ninth.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Ninth. Bloody hell. People in the comments, what do you think? He's going for it. Ninth place. Bloody hell. After the Forest beat tomorrow, then maybe, yeah. There's a question for you, Jack. One player, you know what, this player always, he's annoying. One player at Preston always rated, and he's always bad experience, and he's an ex-England under-80s player, and that is Daniel Johnson. He always plays good at Forest. And how long has he been at Preston, Jack?
Off the top of my head, I reckon he joined.
He's been here for years.
Yeah, he joined while Sam Grayson was in charge in League One, so I reckon 9 years, 8 or 9 years. Now he joined as a youngster from Aston Villa. God, I didn't realise he played for us that long. But no, it's quite funny that you say that, because I go on a lot on the AFC Bournemouth channel with Craig Beasley. I don't know if you know him, but
yeah, good mate of mine.
They rave about Daniel Johnson. And don't get us wrong, we think Daniel Johnson's a good player, but he's one of those that, you know, he can either be really good or he can be really disappointing and be absent. But yeah, he is a good player, and I think he'll play tomorrow. But he's one of those that he needs the ball at his feet. He's not one of those to be chasing a game or to be doing the hard yards. I'd compare him a bit to our own Paul Pogba, in a sense.
Okay.
You don't know what you're going to get from him. You don't know whether he's going to have a 9 out of 10 performance or a 5 out of 10 performance. I've always thought he's a bit inconsistent, but yeah, well, we still like him. He's a good player. We've got a plethora of midfield options. We've got a real good central midfield. You know, you've got Ben Whiteman, Ledson, Ali McCann, Alan Brown, Daniel Johnson. So all 5 of them, you'd be happy to start a game.
You know, you mentioned Whiteman. I think Forest was linked with him one time, but then I think last minute he went to Preston. I think it was at Doncaster one team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always liked him. So, I hope he doesn't play well tomorrow, because I like him a lot.
He's one of our most expensive signings we've ever made, which is, I think, about 1.5 million. Yeah, so 1.5 million, I believe it was, or maybe up to 2 million. But I really like Ben Whiteman. He got hooked off at half time for Ledson on Saturday, and to be fair, he was having a poor game, but so were the 10 other outfield players on the pitch. But he'll start tomorrow. I'm pretty definite, and he's a cracking player. He's a leader in our team.
Before I get Jack's prediction for tomorrow's game, people in the comments, what's your score prediction for tomorrow? Jack, before we get your score prediction, you mentioned you're doing a commentary tomorrow. What kind who are you working with, and what do you do?
So I just do hospital radio. So I'm only 21, so I'm going into like sports journalism. So I've been doing it since I was 16 years old, commentating on Preston. I can't do it as much now because I've just got a job with League Two side Rochdale doing their I follow commentary. But that was the main reason I've been doing it, to kind of gain experience and also get free tickets to the game. So.
Well, bloody hell! So like I said, Jack will be commentating the game tomorrow. Right, Jack. Last but not least, what is your score prediction for tomorrow?
I'm gonna go for a 1-1 draw. I think.
You know what? I'm sick of this, because I've been there 3 times. It's always a draw. It's either 1-1 or 0-0.
Yeah.
Because I mean, last season we 1-1. No, we beat 1-0, didn't we?
Yeah, but it was behind
1-0. Yeah, but the season under Lucci, we draw 1-1. Last season we beat you 1-0.
The season before was 0-0.
Oh, can't we do this? No more draws, please. I'm sick and tired of going to your lot's ground and.
Hey, an away from your point of view, an away point isn't a bad result. You want to win your home and enjoy your away games.
Jack, listen to me. If you look at your guys, look at our waveform. Our waveform's been fantastic. So I'm going to, yeah. Under Cooper, we've only lost we lost to Middlesbrough, and who was it?
Cardiff.
We lost two. So I'm going in confident. I think with Preston's season, like when we beat you 3-0 at the City Ground, I know you've changed manager and that, but with that defeat that you did against Reading on Saturday, I'm confident we can get a result.
Well, I think that it might be the kick up the arse that the players need, though, losing to Reading. That I think this game is the be-all, end-all. If we win this, we do have a shout of playoffs. Even though we've played more games than everyone else, we will then maybe start to have a bit of momentum going into the latter part of the season. But if we lose, that's top 6 over, really, because we'll probably end up 8 points outside playoffs, having played 2 games more than everyone else. So it's a big game for us tomorrow, really. It's probably what you'd call a 6-pointer, because if you win it, then you probably, would you be in the top 6?
Yeah, we'll be in the top 6.
Yeah.
I think if whatever the other results are, we'll be in the top 6. But it's like we can get in the playoffs, but if we lose tomorrow, then we go down to like 12 or something like that. But I'm confident. I'm not going to give my prediction. I always give my prediction an hour before the game. So I'm not going to do it. Jack, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for coming on the channel as well. Jack, like I said, Jack's at the game tomorrow. I'll be at the game tomorrow, people. So if you'd like to get on my vlog, you can. I'll be there around 5 or 5:30 with Malcolm. So if you do see me, people, get on my vlog. People, like I said, if you are like a music channel, please do hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new, people. My next target is 7K. But yeah. Before I do go, and I'll talk about the Bournemouth game. It was absolutely shocking, people. Have you ever experienced that before? Like go to a game and then game get cancelled 4 hours before?
I was with Rochdale, and this was early in the season. We got to Colchester, and half an hour before kickoff, got called off in Colchester.
No.
Yeah. So because obviously we're there as like media, we'd been there for 2 hours previous as well, and then they got called off. So it was a bit of a nightmare. And then we had to do it on a Tuesday night instead, which is a long journey down to Colchester. It
is a long journey there, but like I said, people, I've had loads of messages about, like I said, I did something for the BBC work, so that's really I was really honoured to do that for the BBC as well. But yeah, people. Big game for tomorrow. Big team for both clubs. Like I said, we're both going for playoffs, so it's going to be a massive game. But like I said, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for coming to the channel. Like I said, people, if you're new to the channel, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and hopefully it's going to be a good game tomorrow. And again, peace and love, up the Forest.